Is it still awesome? The SIG P226. Would you go out and buy one today? Nothing fancy. I'll answer that question by the end of this IISA episode, trust me. But first, a little bit of shooting. A little bit. Double action, first shot. Now for me, to be totally honest, the SIG P226 series has been kind of magical. I can hit pretty good with them. I love the double action to single action transition. Some guys have a problem with it. If you're new to guns, this is what I'm talking about. Safety check it real quick. So when I fire for the first time, like you saw, it'll do this. The gun will cycle. And let me represent that. And then we'll be in this configuration. And there's two different trigger pulls. So that first one is long and heavy. This one is light, really lightweight. So that's a really easy trigger right there. Really consistent, precise. This is one of the many things I've always loved about SIGs. Namely the P226. That it just has that wonderful double action to single action transition. And we don't need any safeties. There's no safeties on this gun. All we have is a dedicated hammer drop where it should naturally fall. I've criticized other guns that have tried to mimic the SIG hammer drop, but they usually have it in a really weird location. It's like back here, further forward, or in the case of the Beretta, it's up here slide mounted. You're actually using the safety mechanism to drop the hammer. Here, it's just dedicated. And this is our slide release. Super clean, super intuitive. I love that about the 226. But is it still awesome with all the amazing competition out there now? Well, we'll get to the bottom of that, and you may be surprised at my answer. Sometimes I surprise you guys in these IISA episodes. Is it still awesome? We'll see. We'll see. By the way, does this one look familiar? This gun? If you guys have been long-term TMPers, you might recognize this as my 1988 SIG. That's right, I've had this son of a gun in my possession since 1988, and I'm never selling it. Oops, I just killed the drama. Just killed the drama. So I got the oldest P226 I have to represent the entire series. Let's go do some more shooting. Oh, what'd you say? You want me to shoot that fire extinguisher? You got it, dude. Okay, let's do that. Another thing I loved about the SIG early on, so I was a poor college student, right? I didn't have a ton of money, and I was working my ass off, getting my my degree, and then getting ready to go into the Air Force to go to pilot training. I loved that the 226 back then had these 20-round factory magazines. These days, this isn't that special. I mean, you see higher capacity magazines for all types of guns. It's pretty normal. But back in I don't know when they came out with these, maybe 89 or something, maybe it's 90. Dude, I was so over the moon. And I have a submachine gun ammunition pouch, like a mag pouch that I carried these in. And this with my Glock 19 was my primary go-to-war gun, the P226. I was just like over the moon that I had 21 rounds. Granted, it sticks out the bottom a little bit, but look at what SIG did. They reinforced it with steel plate. So this is a factory SIG 20-round magazine. I still think they're available, but that first one I shot is a Metgar flush mount. I believe it's an 18. This one right here. Let's see if I can see right here. Some are 17, but these Metgars are fantastic. So, you know, you don't have to run something like this that sticks out the butt. The Metgar 18s are probably the best way to go. Actually, that one might be a 17. The Metgars have like a little plastic base plate. Let's light that fire extinguisher up and we'll answer the question. Is this Navy SEAL pistol still awesome? Holy heck, do you need to ask? Really? Really? Shooting a fire extinguisher, it's not full, by the way. got some aging in it. Look at it. The powder coming out. Nothing fancy. You need to shoot stuff like this all the time. A little lower right there. Nope. Oh, shoot. A little bit low. Do you have a P226? I would reckon that you TMPers watching this probably do. Comes in, of course, different calibers. P22, what am I trying to say? The P220 in 45 ACP. I know some guys still have that. I still have a P227 in 45 ACP. By the way, I'm not planning on selling that one either. I don't think you should either. That's one of the best 45 ACP combat pistols ever made, the 227. If you can take the weight. Let's talk about Navy SEAL service for a minute, right? So, once upon a year in YouTube, this gun was attacked by certain individuals as being overhyped, and they induced it to fail with some ridiculous tests, as I see it. And I just kind of laughed. I was like, okay, whatever you need to do for views, bro. And that's what they did. And they condemned the P226. They're like, yeah, I would never trust my life to a 226. The whole time I heard about this, and I saw a little bit of the videos, I was just laughing. I was like, you guys are idiots. 226 is one of the most combat-proven handguns that I know of. In the service of the Navy SEALs, you know how many thousands upon thousands upon thousands of rounds they put through their 226s? How many times they've gone swimming with them in salt water, fresh water, freezing conditions, mud, sand, rain? Dude, they adopted it, what, like 1986? They used it as their primary combat handgun until, what, 2015, when they started transitioning to the Glock 19, which is another great choice. So, I laugh. I was like, okay. You as a YouTuber know better than the Navy SEALs. Come on. Come on, dude. Police departments still use this gun. Law enforcement agencies still use it. Now, the trend, rightfully so, by the way, rightfully so, has been towards lighter pistols. This thing is 34 ounces empty. A full-size P226, which is substantial. I ain't going to sit here and say it ain't. That is a substantial weight. A Glock 19 weighs, what, 23.5 ounces? Yeah, that's a big amount of weight. And I've said this in my tabletop reviews over the years, reviewing the 226, is that you got to know it's not the lightest gun out there. It is representative of 1970s technology in my book. Awesome. An outgrowth of the Browning BDA, the P226, and its predecessors like the 225. But it is an aluminum framed, not steel framed gun, albeit they do have steel framed versions out there that are intended for competition, like the SIG P226 X5. Isn't that like a stainless steel competition variation of it? I would go with the aluminum frame version, 34 ounces. Doesn't break the bank, especially when you consider there's guys rolling around, at least from what they tell me, with full size 8+1 45 ACP chambered 1911s at 42 ounces empty. And then when they load it up, what are they at, like 52 ounces? And guys are saying, yeah, this is my go-to-war piece, a 1911. I'm representing that in the world of weight for your handgun, there's all types of opinions and perceptions. It really depends on who you're talking to. I'm still an SAWC guy. I'm not going to go hiking with a P226 or 228. The shorter version of this gun, which I also love. So this gun, or this IISA episode, could also apply to the P228. Yeah, I'm not going to go hiking with this. I need those ounces for other things like Skittles, chocolate, other treats, water, medical supplies, body armor, which I don't have any inserts in this vest right now, if you're wondering. Yeah, is it still awesome, the P226? Would I go out and buy one today? Nothing fancy. How many rounds I got left in this bad boy? Oh, fair amount. Fair amount. One of the things that I really love about the 226, and I said this in one of my first videos when I filmed for my project. This is like back in 2008. is the high rate of fire you can get with this thing. Okay, so when you go from double action to single action, the trigger on the 226, if you're practiced with it, is like a friggin' machine gun. It is insane. Now, I'm out of practice with the 226. I'll try to represent that. I'm gonna have to move up so I can make some hits. But damn, this thing is fast. Let's go find out. Fast, fast, fast. I guess a downside of the polymer triggers, like in Glocks, the Glock clones, the P10C, P10F, is that they are a polymer trigger, and so they do require a little bit more force to pull than this in single action mode, according to my finger. That's what it tells me. 226, not so much. Out of practice, but you get the idea. You practice with that 226 trigger and magical things will happen. It is amazing. And by the way, this one is stock. I've done nothing to this trigger. It's as I've had it since 1988. That's right, I've never done nothing to it. Now granted, the triggers back then out of box were pretty amazing. The 226s, I was always impressed with the single action pull on it. Really nice. I would say that's probably around 3 pounds right now. Double action, still really nice. I would say, I'm really guessing on this, but I'd say that's about 10-pound smooth pull. More shooting, P226. That's what I'm talking about, boys. 226 IISA. Come on now, are you serious? Come on now. Now some of you dudes are young. You weren't alive in the 1980s to hear about, to see, to experience the introduction of the P226 to the civilian buyer. It was special. I saw it, and even back then at my younger age, I was into guns and I saw the 226. I was like, I need to have that gun. I don't care what it takes. I will sell some other guns, which I did, and I'll go out and buy a 226, which I did. Incidentally, it was this gun right here, and I lied to my wife. Ask Miss Nothing Fancy. This is a gun that really pissed her off. This gun cost me an arm and a leg. I forget how much I paid for it. I'd have to go look at my receipt, which I still have. It was at Van Wagenen's in Provo. Yeah, it was a lot. I didn't care. I was like, yeah, it's worth it. It's worth it, man. Yeah, I was like, oh, Navy SEAL pistol. Sounds good to me. By the way, it was also SWAT teams use the P226 and still use the P226 as an entry pistol. That also impressed me. Guys, again, we're talking about the amazing trigger, Swiss quality, and this was pretty close to when the SIG P210 was well thought of and pretty popular in gunning circles. And some guys were lamenting the fact that this was a different interpretation. It wasn't a P210, that was like a Swiss watch. And this version had a folded and welded slide. This is not a solid stainless steel P226 like they did later. Nope, this is old school P226. And the SEALs actually used this version. And when they dove it in salt water, they would have to take it completely apart and completely flush this carbon steel pin slide. Had a pin breech block in it to make sure that all that salt got out of it. They were super happy when they finally came out with a solid stainless steel slide for the 226. But old school 226, and some guys are like going, yeah, I don't know, it's not the same fit and finish of the 210, and then guys started shooting it. And some of the old storied gun riders started shooting it, and they're like, this thing's legit, man. It's a good gun. And it may not be a 210, but this is a combat-worthy handgun, and it was highly recommended. You might be wondering, why am I shooting this older P226? I mean, I have one in 45. I have a 40 Smith & Wesson 226, and I have another one in 9. Why would I choose this one? because it's special. That's why. And this is a special video. We're asking, is it still awesome? So it's time to break out the 1988 SIG P226. Nothing fancy. Aren't you scared about putting wear and tear on it? Kind of, to be honest. Yes, kind of. I don't like putting wear and tear on this, but for a special video like this, I'll do it. I haven't shot this particular gun. Damn, I haven't shot this in probably 12 years. This particular 226. It's been a long time, dude. And I actually made the mistake of putting aftermarket sights on it. They were tritium TFOs. And I was like, what am I doing? Why did I put those on? I put the original dot bar sight on it. So this is the original sight that came on the gun. Yeah, it's shooting a little bit to the right for me. I have to aim just a little bit left. But it's probably because my mom dropped me on the linoleum a lot. Is it still awesome? Time for more shooting as the sun drops here in the cold, freezing desert next to the Wolverine. I don't know if I can hit single-handed from here. Oh, I can. Once. It's too far. So, in our drills, like in the day, sledgehammer, some other drills, this is a gun that I used a lot. Maybe not this exact one, but I would use like a 226 E2, which I do have. And I just love that transition. You know, you come back from shooting, it's cocked, you come back and decock. I still love it. Some guys have a hard time with it and they go, I can't get used to that. And I've shot with guys who are shooting a SIG of whatever type, 228, 229, 226, and they forget to drop the hammer. They come off target and they're like this. I'm like, no, dude, drop that hammer, dude. And it just takes training. Since I was raised with a gun, so to speak, it's second nature to me, so I don't mind it at all. And like I say, I just love this trigger. Have I ever had a jam with a 226? Sure I have. I forget which one it was, but I had a couple. One time in the snowstorm, I had a couple. I forget which ammo, which mags I was using. And then that's it. I mean, through decades of service, I've seen only a couple stoppages out of SIGs. IISA. Yeah, damn right, it's awesome. It's totally awesome. With a caveat that it is a heavy combat handgun compared to the competition. I'm wearing, I believe, a PSA dagger right here. Oh no, it's my old school Glock 19. What do you know? There you go. These are the two guns, dudes. Literally the two guns that I started my whole arsenal off with. The exact guns. That is no jive. Yeah, so this is pretty funny how this worked out. I thought this is a PSA dagger, but no, it's a G19 Gen 2. This is what the SEALs are using. They went from this to this. Which two guns did I start off with? I didn't know they were going to go to a Glock 19. I had no idea. I'm not saying I do exactly what the SEALs do. I'm just saying it's a good data point, and they have a lot bigger budget than I do. Let them go test it. And the SEALs have, you know, the capability to buy whatever the hell they want. Run whatever gun they want. Night vision, whatever they want. They got all the money in the world. Well, not all the money in the world, but quite a bit. Would I still buy a P226 today? Totally. Would I put it in first line combat handgun service? Yes, with an asterisk. And the asterisk would be this. Again, I wouldn't use a P226 or a P228 or a 229 for that matter as my go-to-war handgun when I'm in a man-portable system going a long ways. Does that make sense? It's too heavy. It's too heavy. I'd go Glock, PSA Dagger, P10C, STR9, Arex Delta M. All the amazing guns that I've reviewed. Even the Smith & Wesson SD9. I love that gun. Yeah, I said it. Dude, it's a great gun. It's super reliable, super accurate. I mean, and storied past. Especially if you get it in the Navy SEAL version, which is super collectible. Mark 25 version. They've got the Nitron versions. The E2 grip version is still being made. I'm so stoked to see that. I went to the website today, and the E2 version the E2 version still being made. So it has a skinnier top of the grip right here, and I love that E2 grip, dudes. It is so fantastic, even for my large-sized hands. But for female shooters, guys that have smaller hands, like medium-sized gloves, they'll have no problem shooting the E2, reaching the trigger, reaching the decock lever. And incidentally, I still think they make a reduced reach trigger if this is too far forward for your hand on the P226. How's durability, by the way? It's been great. I will say this gun has been taken care of nicely. I haven't like exposed it to rain, mud, salt, any of that nonsense. It's too collectible for me. I think any gun you can induce jams with if you do the right test. I've said that on my tabletop reviews. I just bring them out here to the desert. If it's snowing, it's snowing. If it's raining, it's raining. If I drop it in dirt, I drop it in dirt. And it's got to be able to do well in those tests. And if it does, I bring that to tabletop. But I don't have the ammo or the time or the inclination to do any ridiculous testing on these things. I would bet my life to a 226. No doubt. Glock 19 too. No question. No question. If it fails and I can't clear it and it goes down hard, it's just my day to die, I guess. It's my day to die. I don't mean that in a bad way, but I mean, that's how much I have faith in the 226 platform. It is outstanding. So is it still awesome? Absolutely, if you can take the weight. The newer versions, of course, are railed up so you can put a light laser on them. This is the old school version. It can go into any serious philosophy of use, combat handgun, go-to-war handgun, home defense handgun, point defense handgun. This is one of my top choices for checkpoints. Like if we go in without rule of law, dude, you'll see me rocking a 226, either right here in chest mount, I'll have it down low here, 226. Because I'm not hiking mile after mile in that philosophy of use. And this is a gun I would love to have. I just have that much faith in it. There you go, boys. What we're going to do here is we're going to end this portion of the video, and then I'm going to go shoot for accuracy this exact gun. And we'll end the video with that. So it'll be an add-on to this portion right here, and we'll just remind ourselves how accurate this old school 1988 SIG P226 is. Nothing fancy project. Center. Shooting right for me. Aiming left circle. Upper left. Bottom left. Bottom right. Still works awesome. I know, I wish they made them too. Can't find those anymore. Wolverine providing the light. Baja Designs lights. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Knock a yard off, 13 yards.